Hello there, and welcome back to the Fantasy Minecraft Guide. In today's episode, we're going to cover the Archon mod. So we'll start off with another little bit of a lore section, and I'll give you a tour of some of the things I've been working on in the village, and then we'll finish off with the Archon mod. The Archon mod is another kind of spell system that you can use in this. I don't use it very frequently, but I just tested it out and kind of got a good handle on it, just to give you another option for things that you can use in this mod pack. Again, this mod pack is pretty expansive. So we covered the Bewitchment mod last time, we've covered the Spell Engine, and today we're going to cover Archon. As usual, make sure you use the chapters below if there's a certain section you want to just skip to. If you're just here for the tutorial, then you could skip right to the Archon section. If you do enjoy, the Let's Play and lore stuff, then feel free to watch that as well. I hope you do. I do enjoy making that type of stuff, but I know some people are just here for the tutorial, so go ahead and skip to that if you like. I make sure to put all the info in the chapters below. And if there is something else that you'd like me to cover in this mod pack, again, there's hundreds of mods, so it's, I'm obviously not using even probably half of them. Give me a comment and I'll make sure I cover it in a future video. So I will see you guys on the other side of the lore section. Merovech continued scouring the land for the pillager leader, the one who was responsible for the death of Fredegonde and Chilperic. He sought out their towers, their keeps, their castles, and razed them all. Nobody was spared in his quest for vengeance. However many he killed, it never satisfied him, as the leader, the Invoker, was still yet to be found. As he traveled through the land further and further from the Frost Strand, the pillagers, the once mighty armies, were decimated. Nearby villages had started to whisper, wondering if there was somebody out there, a hero, putting an end to the tyranny of the pillagers. They had no idea how wrong they were. Every death, every pillager that fell, became another soul added to the army of the undead that Merovech now commanded. After searching for months, he was in the jungles when he stumbled across a pillager manor and he felt a presence of something more powerful than he had faced. Merovech located the Invoker, the leader of all the pillager armies. He confronted him in his manor, however the Invoker refused to stand and fight. The Invoker, like Merovech, could summon armies as well. He sent vexes after Merovech and his undead army. After being confronted, the Invoker fled into the jungle. Merovech sacked the manor and sent his undead army, his skeletons and wraiths, out into the jungle, hunting for the Invoker. The Invoker threw his pillager captains and generals at Merovech, to no avail, and Merovech located him in the dense forest of the jungle. The battle raged on all night. Both sides' armies clashed. Merovech's skeletons fell, the Vexes pushing him back. He retreated towards a nearby village to gather his armies. On the break of the next day, he raced off into the jungle again, ready to finish the Invoker once and for all. The Invoker, slowly losing ground, running out of mana, ran deeper and deeper into the jungle. However, it was soon to be over. The Invoker teleported here and there, continuing to retreat. Merovech's skeletal army and wraiths pushed further and further, tracking him until Merovech finally caught up with him and dealt the killing blow. Merovech took little time to revel in his victory. The evil of the sword had so corrupted him in his vengeance. He set his sight on a village nearby, believing that they had harbored pillagers. As he entered the villagers initially thought that he was their savior. However, they found he was soon to be their doom, as he laid waste to the village and added them to the ranks of his undead army. Although Merovech was victorious today, he had no idea that his actions today had drawn the attention of another force, the attention of the Order of the Rising Sun. Lord Sonnenbrenner, thank you for coming so quickly. Your report, Bishop. One of the villages in my territory was recently sacked by an unknown evil. I did some research and found that this evil presence has been spreading from the north. Yes, I have heard rumors of such a presence. Sir, we have also lost contact with one of our chapels in the northernmost reaches of the land. A priest had been assigned there, and nobody's heard from him in over a year. This indeed is concerning. I will investigate, personally. Lord Sonnenbrenner, do you think this is the return of the ancient evil we faced thousands of years ago? It has been foretold in the prophecies that we would face this trial again. I will confer with the High Council of the Rising Sun. Keep me apprised of anything that you learn. Yes, Lord Sonnenbrenner. Lord Sonnenbrenner flew off to consult the High Council. Merovech and the evil of the Runeblade had been uncontested at this point, but they were about to be matched by another ancient force, the Order of the Rising Sun. Okay, so, launching right into things, I just want to take a few moments to talk about a little bit of where this series is going. I am going to probably wrap this up within a few more episodes, and then if there's things I want to cover in this mod pack, I'll do them in one-offs, maybe in the 101 playlist. But I think I've spoke about this before, and the world that we're currently in has become somewhat hard to load, and it no longer really works with the replay mod, so I won't be doing any more build. So I won't be doing any more time lapses, which is something I really enjoy doing. So I think the best thing for me to do is wrap this series up. I only have a couple of things I want to cover anyway, as far as the mod pack is concerned, that I think is going to be super useful to cover. I have, I believe, 2 more lore segments I want to cover, and then kind of like a little conclusion. I've had this little wall for a while, and this was kind of like my suggestions to myself. I just, some of them are not here anymore because I've covered them. Some of them I haven't taken down yet, but we can do that. I don't think I ever talked about this on camera, but I did my clothing and leather store building. I never really detailed them much, so maybe I'll leave that up there. But simple storage, Tom's, we've done that. Town hall build was our witches kind of thing. Dock area and chapter 4.2 we haven't done or covered yet fully. I started working on the dock area. Bewitchment is done, and the Spellblades Bosses is not. So this these 2 in particular are probably going to be the next 2 episodes, most likely, to cover the remaining lore segments, and this is probably something I'll just finish up off camera. So that's kind of where I'm going to go. I'm going to try to cover the Spellblades Bosses. I haven't been able to get the Magisters to summon in my world, but I really haven't been using spells, so hopefully it's something that when it does happen, I'll be able to flip on the old recording software and cover that. So I know you've seen the warehouse, but I did some docks as well. This is something I really enjoy doing, docks. I'm working on my boats. It's not by any means perfect, but I'm working on them. So I made this larger one, kind of little skiff of form of sorts, and then this smaller little, I don't know, little, I would imagine this is like just shuttles between the bigger boats and things like that, that maybe are docked out that way. But yeah, a little dock area. Just working with a little crane idea. I probably should just watch a tutorial or something like that, but I enjoy trying to figure this stuff out on my own for the most part. So added on to that, I haven't really, as with much of this village, you know, there's places that look really finished and places that don't. This is kind of the leather working store that I had built but never did too much with, except threw a cauldron in here. And then this was my shepherd, or, you know, wool kind of place. This is pretty finished. For some reason, I don't know if this is on a chunk border, but these sheep are supposed to be out here, and they keep ending up in here. Yeah, kind of annoying, because they don't ever want to go back to the door. I gotta break the door, put them on leads, pull them in there, and then they just end up in there again anyway, so I've kind of just given up. So those are two buildings I don't think I ever covered, and then I built this off camera as well. This is kind of like where I just gave up on replay mod and decided, like, all I want to do is build this village out, and I really enjoy the time lapses, and I just can't do them. So yeah. But this is another building we have in here. I haven't really done much with the interior. I probably never will. I did do a nice little outback area, though. Kind of, you come up here, little pond, cross over, and now this is part of the manor, so, you know, you're standing up here, you have something other than just the back of buildings to look at here. And, yeah, it kind of ties it all in together. So that's some of the stuff that I've been working on in the village. Now you kind of have an idea of where we're going with the rest of the series, a couple more episodes, and I have some ideas for what I'd like to do after that. So let's launch into the Archon mod. So Archon is another mod that is a spell casting system in this mod pack. So there's a few different things that come with it as far as blocks, one of which is the scripture table, where you can use to create spell books, and one of which is this magical bookshelf. Really not sure what this is for. But we'll get into those things as we move on. So the first thing you should do with the Archon mod is probably craft this Grimoire. And with this Grimoire, you can, kind of like Bewitchment, it just has everything you might want to cover. So, you know, your mana, your channeler, you know, your spells, things like that. And I will say in the Discord, I often see people talking about the Archon mod without knowing that they're doing it. So I think this will be something that is useful for some people. So the Archon mod is based mostly around these little spell books that you find throughout the world. And they're consumable, so essentially you just, if I want to learn Fireball, I just right click on it, it tells me I learned a new spell. The color that it shows up in the text actually represents the element, so there Propel is much more of a thunder spell, right? Incombustible is a fire spell, and so it actually represents the element. And then if you already know the spell, it won't let you learn it again. So for example, Mend is going to be a water spell, but then I already knew the Fireball, so it doesn't let me do that again. So you've learned some spells. What's the next step? Typically you find those spells throughout chests and things like that, and they are craftable as well. So the next step is going to be creating some way to cast these spells. So unlike the spell engine, where you can just equip a weapon, as long as it says can cast spells, then you get the number keys and you can cast them. Archon, you need very specific items to cast the spells with. So let's say I want to cast a fire spell, and there's different items, and you can search at Archon here and see the different items you can cast with. I just created the wands for simplicity's sake, but if you want better spell power, you can create some of these other ones. Like I think you can get up to 5, maybe more. 5, it looks like 2, but that's a weapon. Yeah, I think 5 is the maximum that you can get plus the spell power. But for now, we'll just equip the fire wand, and I'll kind of show you what you're doing here. So the fire wand can cast the spells that you've learned that are fire spells. Oh boy. Oh god. That was terrible. No. Oh god. I mean, at least it wasn't pointing at one of my buildings. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Let's get out of this space. Oh, Jesus. I can't believe I just did that. Alright, so I'm done blowing up my base, but we want to cast a fire spell. Boom. Right? We can blow things up with it. I had no idea that this did that, so it's interesting. Anyway, so that's kind of the gist of it, right? Really simple. You learn the spell, you equip the appropriate wand, you can cast a spell. Now, what happens if you have 2 spells in the same element? Pretty simple. You can just hold on your left shift button, assuming that's your keybind for it, and right click, and then now you have the other spell selected. And if you ever want to see what the spells do, you can just come in here and see what they do. Fireball shoots a fireball, incombustible grants fire resistance, and scales based on your spell power, and so on and so forth. So pretty straightforward. It's not something that lends itself to being intuitive if you don't have the spell book, which is why I think a lot of people get hung up on it. But once you get the spell book and you know what you're doing, pretty easy. So some of them, you know, the different elements have different abilities. So the end one I can use to teleport, which is kind of cool. It's only like 8 blocks, I believe. But as long as you have mana, you can do it, so you can kind of push yourself along. If you don't have elytra and things like that, probably useful to get up to ledges and such. And then let's see what else there is. Dark Ball. This one, if I can find something to attack, if you hit something with it, it creates like a dragon's breath kind of. Get over. Where'd you go? See, it creates like the dragon's breath type of thing underneath it. So, pretty cool. But yeah, you can create those and check them out. So there's a couple other things that you can do with this mod too. So it's not just casting spells and things like that. One of the main reasons that I wanted to use this mod was you can do some necromancy with it. So necromancy has its own section, and you have to harvest souls and create soul cores. Soul cores, once you harvest the souls, are pretty easy to make. You can just craft them with bones in the appropriate soul. However, the souls, you have to kill them with the soul scythe, and in order to get the kill, it has to be the thing that deals the damage. So I had my mob spawner and I have my pulsing soul shock ability, and I sat at the mob spawner for like a half hour AFK thinking I would get some souls, and I didn't get a single one. So you do have to be the one that essentially gets the kill. So I went out and I got 2 souls just to kind of prep for this. And once you have the souls, it's pretty simple. You can just throw it on the ground and hit it with the Staff of the Undead. And then you're going to make what they call a skelt. And you'll get an achievement for it, it looks like. So the little skelts are little skeletons. There's 3 different variants of them depending on what kind of soul you have. There's player souls, monster souls, and boss souls. And you'll get different skelts depending on which one you get. And then they'll just kind of follow you around like normal pets. And then you can use the Staff of the Undead to tell them to stop following you or follow you. And they will kind of warp to you, but I'm guessing like the dogs, they can get lost if you go too far too fast. See how he fares with those guys. Oh. They're still alive. Oh, he killed one of them. Break the race out. The skelts are actually doing a pretty good job at keeping up, it seems. That's actually encouraging because the wraiths, and if you play the Revenant, the minions the Revenant summons really do terrible. The wraiths do a decent enough job. They'll sometimes get stuck in other dimensions, but the minions the Revenant summons absolutely are terrible. Skelts seem to do a pretty good job. But again, they are kind of hard to get or annoying to get those soul cores. Perfect. So I was gonna, hopefully a villager grew up and one did. So the scripture table, or actually maybe it looks like it's this thing, function as a profession block. So you can get another kind of wizard villager. And this guy, let me get some emeralds. This guy can sell you stuff relating to the mod, and he'll buy stuff relating to the mod. So we'll just max him out real quick to see what he gets. Mana berries will restore your mana and also restore a little bit of hunger. So that's what the magical bookshelf does. That's useful to know. He also can sell Arcane, which is an enchantment, which reduces your mana cost of the weapon you're using. So he can sell Lightning in a Bottle, which is used in crafting. And then he sells some scrolls as well. Now the scrolls is something that you can use, you can activate it, but you can typically only have one of them going on at a time. I'm not really sure how to check if they're active. But anyway, you can bind them to yourself. You can only have one at a time. So the ancient scroll that we just use capacity adds to your maximum mana. Removal removes the current effect. And it appears that those are the only 2 that exist right now. So not really a huge thing going on. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is you have the channeler. Now, the channeler is something that can kind of turn items, if you will, into other items. So I'll demonstrate this. For example, if you wanted to target a leaf block, you can zap it and it will turn them into pixie leaves, which are, you know, a crafting reagent for the Archon mod here. But the one, at least so far that I've found that's the most useful is you can turn gold, it has to be a gold block, into these glisteel ingots. So here you go, I have a couple gold blocks, channel, glisteel ingots. And these are items that are used for crafting other things in this mod. So if you were to go ahead and you wanted to, you know, say use these spells frequently, you might go ahead and craft something like, you know, the Frost Sword or the Storm Cleaver, you know, one of these staffs, the Thunder Staff, say, and you can, you know, you'll need the glisteel ingots to make things like that. So another thing that you'll find in this mod is the ability to summon bosses, and in order to do so you need a summoning pedestal. Now there are 5 different bosses, and if you go into the book it has like the items you need to make each one of them underneath them, and then they get progressively more powerful as you go down the list. The first one that we're going to summon is Tar. To summon Tar you need Deep Slate, 2 Earth Essences, and an Emerald. And it will summon him. So at this point in the game, as you can see, kind of a joke. They are not nearly as fleshed out and developed as the bosses from like Miriam's Souls-like, or the other bosses of Mass Destruction, I believe it is, mod. So I don't know that I'm going to go through all of them right here, right now. They all kind of look the same. You can see them in the book, and feel free to fight them if you wish. For me, this mod is mostly about another spell system, and then the Necromancy. I think the Skelts are just if you're trying to play Necromancer, I think for me, like, those things are going to make a great little addition to the flavor of my character. One thing I forgot to mention with Lightning in the Bottle, you can throw it and actually use it to have lightning strike. So if you throw it, it actually summons a beam of lightning. You can use that to do things like charge creepers, and I'm not sure if you can turn horses into skeletal horses. In fact, I actually want to find out. I'm going to find a horse. Not that I know when I've actually seen a horse in this mod pack. Horses. Okay. I guess that doesn't work. Well, I will say that probably wraps up our adventures with the Archon mod. There's not a whole lot to cover in it. The spells are really the main thing, and you know, the Necromancy, and have fun with the bosses if that's something you want to do. Let me know in the comments below if there's something you think I missed or something you want me to cover more in depth. I'd be happy to do so. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm pretty excited to wrap up this storyline in the next episode or 2 and see what comes next. If you enjoyed the episode, a like and subscribe on the video goes a long way to helping me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Should we build the Titanic sinking or the Titanic flood?
Well, you're building a Titanic and I'm building a Titanic, right?
Right. Gosh. Why are you looking at?
Because you're just punching the air in the box.
Can I make the iceberg? I'm gonna make the iceberg. Dad, does this look like an iceberg?
Oh, I know what an iceberg looks like. So. I'd say that's fine.
Dad, look, I made the Titanic sinking in the iceberg. You see?
Nice. Put a little armor stand on it, and it can be jack pouring off.
Yeah. Oh, you did the white part now. Oh.
Let's see, what's next?
Next is the steam pipes or the lifeboats. This is not looking like a Titanic. It's looking like a different ship.
Yeah, it's not coming out perfect, but you know what? Like I said before, the best way you learn is by doing stuff, right? So next time we make a Titanic, maybe it'll look better. It needs to be longer. It looks a little short and stubby.